Have you ever wondered what makes someone so magnetic? The feeling you get when you meet someone and the experience is still in your mind days or even weeks later. The kind of magnetism that makes everyone obsessed with you and can build you a loyal legion of simps. The good news is, over the years, this superpower has been boiled down into an exact science, and this video is going to teach you the secret. And since we're talking about magnetic personalities and how to develop them, who better to learn from than the new king of simps, Gojo. If you haven't seen it yet, JUJUTSU Kaisen is a new shonen anime that has quite literally taken the world by storm. And for good reason. The story is great, the characters are really likable, and the soundtrack.
Beat hits harder than my mama slaps.
There's been a lot of talk about the series recently for all the things I've just mentioned, but one thing that I've seen practically everywhere is the new legion of Gojo simps. Put frankly, he has been the husbando of 2020, and it's because of his personality really draws you in. Now what if I told you you could also have the Gojo effect, and you could learn to develop the same magnetic personality he has? It sounds like an offer too good to be true, but I assure you it's entirely possible. Well, lucky for you friend, this practical magic is very easy to learn, and there are objective scientifically backed methods to accomplish this. There are 3 elements that construct a magnetic charisma, but all 3 of these things have a certain nuance to them. You have to pay close attention to each part of the video because if you don't, when you try this you'll come across as fake, and human beings are quite good at noticing when something's off.
Like an actual customer out here, what's the best kind of firework to buy?
Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
Who are your parents?
Kid's sketchy. Back.
So without further ado, let's jump into how to develop the magnetic charisma of Gojo.
Gojo Satoru の大好きなところで山手線ゲーム全部
Since we're talking about charisma, it's important to mention a few things. You don't have to be born with charisma to be charismatic. Consciously or not, charismatic people choose specific behaviors that make other people feel a certain way. And these behaviors can be learned and perfected by basically anyone. It definitely helps that Gojo is naturally attractive and outgoing, but this isn't the end-all be-all when it comes to charisma. In the real world, there are plenty of examples of people who aren't huge outgoing extroverts or fit society's view of the most attractive man, that are so charismatic they go down in history as champions of charisma. Becoming like these people is simple, and it all starts with presence. Presence is the first key component of charisma. Gojo has this undeniable presence to his character that really leaves a long-lasting impression when you see him. When you see him around his students, or even around his enemies, Gojo's presence simply cannot be ignored. He has this aura of authenticity and confidence that just shines through any situation. Let's start with his confidence. In the whole of the Jujutsu world, Gojo is the strongest man alive, and his ability, Limitless, makes it so that you literally can't touch him. So naturally, he has all the reason to be confident. His authenticity is also something to take note of. In the world we live in, society gives us plenty of reasons to hide elements of ourselves behind social masks. We never truly show certain groups of people who we are out of necessity, fear, or a myriad of other reasons. But Gojo is purely unfiltered Gojo, and he basically has no masks, no filters. Whether he's talking to his superiors or his students, you still get the same Gojo. Which, in a world of plenty of fake people and imposters everywhere, a person's authenticity is a very standout trait that a lot of people admire and are attracted to. Now, confidence and authenticity are things that are very complex, and really and truthfully, these take time to work on and build. But one element of Gojo's presence is something that you can start doing right now, and it's his presence with others. For as powerful and great as Gojo is, he's very present and in the moment with the people he cares for. He's completely there with you in the moments you're together. What I mean by this is think back to a conversation you had with someone where you got the sense that the other person wasn't very present. Sure, that person was physically there, but you knew that their mind was thinking about something completely different. Now think about how that made you feel. Needless to say, people love others that are present and in the moment with them. In Jujutsu Kaisen, Gojo's shown plenty of examples of him being present. For example, when his students Megumi and Yuji both hit plateaus in their growth, it's Gojo's insight that helps them get past it. Insight that was only possible to bring to light because Gojo is completely present with his students and their actions. When he's interacting with them, they have his full attention. The reason why this element of charisma is so important to highlight is because it's relatively easy and you can start doing this now. A helpful tip on how to stay present with someone in your real life interactions is from time to time look into that person's eyes and focus on every word they say. Obviously you don't want to overdo it, but looking into a person's eyes hones your focus away from external thoughts and distractions and tells the other person with your body language that you have my undivided attention. Speaking of body language, power is the next crucial component of charisma. Power is our perception of your ability to affect the world around you. Because human beings can't just read each other's minds, we make assumptions about a person's power from external things we see about them. Obviously, when it comes to Gojo, he displays power all the time through curse techniques and abilities. But another way he displays power that we can copy and use for ourselves is his body language. Body language is crazy important to magnetic charisma. In fact, researchers at MIT's Media Lab found that body language and vocal pitch are so crucial to building relationships and trust that researchers could predict the success of sales pitches with 87% accuracy just by reading body language alone. This shows that body language really is the backbone of charisma, and even here, Gojo owns it in spades. When you look at Gojo throughout the series, he looks like someone who's very confident in their own skin. He's not afraid to stand out or take up space around him, and it's this chill persona that makes people like him. When you see someone so comfortable in their environment, it has a knock-on effect and it makes us feel comfortable too. The great thing about open body language is that it immediately has an effect on our mental state. When your body takes up more space in your environment, anxiety hormones in your body fall and assertive and energy hormones rise. Similarly, a study in 2020 found that powerful body language resulted in increased confidence. This means that the simple act of taking up more space in your environment and adopting power poses makes you more charismatic on a psychological and physiological level. Also, while we're on the topic of body language, remember the whole looking into eyes thing I mentioned before? Well, it turns out eye contact is very, very powerful. Studies have shown that sustained eye contact and interactions causes the body to produce a chemical called or PEA for short. The interesting thing about this chemical is that it's thought to be the same chemical released in love at first sight situations, which, thinking about it now, is probably the reason why everyone loses it when they see Gojo's eyes. Again, I want to reiterate, you don't want to abuse power posing and eye contact in your social interactions. But both these things have massive effects on how people perceive you and how magnetically charismatic you are. When in doubt, if you think you're doing too much, just tone it down a small notch. Now that we've talked about presence and power, the last key component of charisma is something a lot more wholesome, but still just as important as the other two. The cornerstone of charisma, warmth. Gojo has the tendency to just brighten up a scene. Even when the environment around him is supposed to be doom and gloom, Gojo's personality changes the frame of that dynamic. It's no secret that a big reason why we all love Gojo is just his inviting and warm nature he has. If you think back to the people in your life that you love spending time with, chances are they're people who make you feel good and elevate your mood just by being around them. Humans are very simple animals of habit. If we're around someone that makes us feel good, then we're going to want to spend more time with them so that we can get more of that good feeling. And with Gojo, it's no different. You might think that warmth is something that comes naturally to you and you can struggle to try to be warm. And whilst you can't fake warmth, there are proven ways to show your warmth naturally. Expressing gratitude when people do things to help you and compassion when people ask for your help are big ways to project warmth. When you talk to someone, tell them about what you like about them. What specific traits or qualities do you think they have that makes them special to you? It has to be specific and from the heart though. A random comment about something generic you like about a person isn't going to get them to respond to you well. The compliments that stay the longest in your head are the thoughtful ones you don't hear often. So to summarize, the key components of Gojo's magnetic charisma is presence, power, and warmth. All PPW if you ever forget. All of these elements have to be kept in an equilibrium. If you go too far in one direction, you just look like a weirdo. If you ever want to raise your charisma or harness the power and the energy of all the simps around you, just think of what can I do to increase my presence, power, or warmth in my social interactions. Yo, Meta here, and for those of you who are seeing this, thank you so much for watching the video. A lot of the key points for this episode came from the book The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox Cabane. If you want more insight into charisma, I highly recommend this book, and I'll link it down below in the doobly-doo. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and if you did, please consider subscribing. I plan on making more anime analysis videos like this in future, and subscribing not only supports the channel, but makes sure you don't miss out on any future videos. Also, I realize that Gojo isn't going to be everyone's favorite character, so comment down below on what characters you like from the series, or what series you'd like me to look at next. As always, this has been MetaZeal. Thank you sexy people for watching. Stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in another video. Peace.